on the TikTok is just coming on. Hi,
Oh
everybody.
yeah.
Sorry, we're 4 minutes off. We're back on this week as usual. I'm here with the illustrious Parham I call him the super therapist. And this week's topic is, I believe we just got it a few hours ago, and it seemed like a lot of people were interested in this Suboxone, taper, and mental health. In addition, I announced on TikTok that I would be giving some updates on what's going on with the city of Santa Ana, and they're going after our Harm Reduction Institute, which is our nonprofit housed within our American Addiction Intensive Outpatient Treatment. Let me first of all say hi to Parham and TikTok, guys. If you saw the announcement, go over to YouTube, Dr. B Addiction Recovery. For all of you that are new to that, please go ahead, like, subscribe, check out our Patreon. This is all funded out of our pocket. Parham, John, my dear, how are you? It's good to see you.
I'm doing good, Dr. B. And what's up, everyone? Everyone that said hi to Dr. B and myself, hi right back to you. Thank you for being here. We have some interesting. We have someone from Ireland already, Dublin, Ireland. Megan, what's up?
Hi,
Dublin,
Megan.
Ireland. There you go. Welcome. And looking forward to another one here. We're talking about Suboxone taper, which is going to be your expertise, and then it also talks about mental health, which hopefully I can add a nugget or two to help anybody that's going through that process. So grateful to be here with you, Doc, another week. Great way to start the week. I always look forward to it.
Likewise, Parham, and I think you give a bit more than a nugget. Another crazy morning. So much stuff going on, and I start at 5. I just can't keep up, guys. But someday I will be rich and I will have time, and I could just do what I want to do, which I really want to move over to this platform and do a lot more of this and continue my clinical. Parham, let me, if it's okay with you, let me start off with a little bit of update. And those of you on YouTube that don't know, I have not made a YouTube video, but I did make a TikTok videos a week or so back, and we're probably going to do a YouTube video with the co-founder of it's not mine, of our Harm Reduction Institute, and what's going on. And we haven't really talked about it. We'll keep it on the down low. We have a Harm Reduction Institute it's a nonprofit, and it's housed within the conceptual business framework of American Addiction, which is our intensive outpatient treatment, which is also a nonprofit. Now, what the Harm Reduction Institute does, we are in Santa Ana, California, and Parham and them all know about it. And what we do is we operate under state mandate, very, very regulated, and we are funded by grants, and initially it was out of our pocket. We really service the most marginalized and at-risk population of Santa Ana and really Orange County. Who are they? The homeless, okay? And these people come with all kinds of homeless and substance abuse. And through that institute, what we do, we have a large cadre of volunteers. These include medical students. These include nursing students. These include those in recovery. And then it's really a beautiful thing we do, and we keep it on the down low. And we hand out everything from condoms to food to blankets, HIV testing and referral, hepatitis C testing and treatment, wound care, abscesses, you name it. And it's all in addition to distribution of Narcan. As I've said many times before, now we have over 2,000 lives saved. It's run by a young lady named Carol. She's getting her PhD. She is on payroll, funded by the state. My position, just so if anybody's wondering, my position is also funded by state grants. And it's not like that's where I make my money. It's a small stipend monthly, and we are the sort of the last barrier to a lot of people in need. And we also distribute clean needles, and we try to get people in treatment, get them insurance, referral for housing, you name it, we do it. We got shut down a week or so ago by the city of Santa Ana. If I operate, I can go to jail. There is now 2 LA Times articles on it. If you guys are curious, go to LA Times. The first article was a few weeks ago before we got shut down. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's a nice article that kind of gives you a summary of what's happened at that point. We have a great legal team. Recent article a couple of days ago, I think that it starts off with "People Are Going to Die" is the title, and I can't remember his name. So there's 2 Los Angeles Times articles. I haven't even read the second one on our position right now. And those of you wondering out there, the best you can do, and I'll get Mahan and Carol to work with people, is write the city of Santa Ana an email. Check out the hashtag Shame on Santa Ana on TikTok. Support us. Let your voice be heard. We are all at risk, but most concerning for all of us here is they just shut down services to some really, really needy folks in a bad way. I just wanted to get started with that, Parham, and let's get going.
Yeah, I mean, that's the more awareness you can bring to something like that, I think is always going to be better. And I just looked it up. The article is online. So if you look up Santa Ana, LA Times, harm reduction or needle or exchange, that kind of stuff, it'll pop up there. So it's an easy Google find. I'm rooting for you, Doc. I hope that better heads prevail and whatever policies are in place to allow services to continue for the most marginalized and those individuals who need it the most. And it's not a money-making machine, or it's not a place that people are going. It's for altruistic reasons of trying to help those who cannot get help in traditional treatment, IOP, private pay insurance, or high cash rate prices. So I'm a big fan, man. I really hope that you're able to break through the barriers.
Yeah, Parham, this what we do here is the pinnacle of evidence-based care with validated outcomes. We know what's going to happen. We're going to decrease HIV, which is exploding in Santa Ana. The homeless are dying by hordes. And then you add substance abuse and every other problem that comes with it. We're going to reduce soft tissue infections. We are going to reduce endocarditis. We will get people in treatment. We are. It's pretty badass stuff. And many people wonder why I do it. Maybe one day we'll have a question session where people can ask me why I do this. There's no angle here. Sure, we need to have cash flow to survive. There's no angle here. This is just straight up public health measures and medical care without the voodoo. So thank you, Parham, for your support, and everyone else. Let's move to the topic. We're doing what? Suboxone taper and the importance of mental health, or something to that effect. And guys, again, TikTok, get your butts over to Dr. B Addiction Recovery. Get on here, ask questions. Parham's driving the seat. I'm going to let him drive.
Yeah, you can start it off, Doc. It's anything with a taper, I prefer for it to be you.
Sure, no problem. So I think we're talking about initially, Parham, this was, and Nicole's sort of going through this kind of thing right now. Initially, they put Suboxone detox, and hi, Misty, I wanted to change it. Look, Suboxone taper. I don't even like the term detox. And there's some key elements here. In general, what I have to say about, I get a lot of critical feedback, mainly a lot of it on TikTok about you're an idiot. Suboxone is worse than heroin. It's hard to, and my answer is the same across the board without even looking, is that you either came off too early or you are came off too fast, or you are being mismanaged by yourself, because a lot of people are getting this stuff on the street, or your physician's mismanaging it. And what people have to really realize is getting on Suboxone, staying on Suboxone, now getting off of Suboxone. Some important things to know. It's just as critical to come off at the right time and do it under the care of someone who knows, and don't be in such a rush. When do you come off the care? Come off of Suboxone? Here's the honest answer. Okay, there's no data. Let me just be upfront about it. We do not have data, and everybody's in a rush. Oh, if I got to get on this, when do I get off? Who cares is my answer. Because why? I do a benefit versus risk analysis. You've been banging heroin, you got hepatitis C, you got abscesses all over, you're homeless, this, that, and you're worried about getting off Suboxone. I'm telling you, it can give you everything back. So we don't have data. What we do have is clinical experience, and your practitioner has to really understand. In general, Parham, I always tell people the time to consider getting off of Suboxone, whether it's a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, is when you have your shit together beyond, because addiction, as you and I both always, we're on the same page as this, is so much more than that substance, right? It's a complete cognitive paradigm dysfunction of how you look at the world, interact with the world, and make decisions, and what has taken over. Now, if you get to a day where you're not thinking about dope, you're paying your rent, you're married, you're going to work, and all we're doing is you come in here and we're shooting the shit, and you're just getting your dose, we should talk about considering taper. That being said, and I feel kind of bad. One of our fellow people here was just going through a taper, and she lives in Arkansas. And for multiple reasons, even though her doctor is great, I feel, I think this taper could have been cut up in a million different ways to make it easier. And I'm going to guide her this time. But there is a million different ways to taper, and you shouldn't worry about how quickly it's done. And one of those things that have to be in place is your mental health. Don't forget, this is not dope. There's no losing in this. It's you do what you need to do to stay healthy. And one last piece I'm going to say on this, Parham, is, and some people may need to stay on some dose for life. And that's okay, because the risks of that far outweigh the risks of getting off of it for a few people. But there is a million ways to get off, and there should be no rush. And sometimes when you have a problem, you always want to adjust back and forth and make sure your shit's together to do this. So that's my kind of intro to that. There's a lot of misconceptions and negative attitudes towards it.
Yeah, thanks, Doc. I really like how you did the pros and cons, to say the least, but the cost analysis. It's very important. But what I have to say is, anytime there is a major life event, anytime there's a major life event. Now, that major life event in this case can be adjusting, changing, reducing, decreasing, or increasing medications. It needs to simultaneously have mental health treatment concurrently happening at the same time. And why do I say that? Is because any change changes something else, right? One change changes another area in life. And in order to go through something that's difficult and challenging, or potentially difficult and challenging, the more support the individual has to be able to talk about their real-time experiences, their thoughts, their feelings, it allows them to successfully, or with better success rates, get through any perceived difficulty, real or perceived, that they may be experiencing right now. So what does taking care of your mental health look like? One of the components of it is to be able to be open and honest with those around you with what your current situation is. A lot of people have a very, whether it's the stigma, whether it's the relationship with being on a medication, that they have a hard time being open and honest with others about the fact that they're either tapering off or reducing the amount of medication they're using, because what if they judge me? What if they say you can do it? It's not a big deal. I've done it before. Well, just because someone else did it doesn't mean it's going to be the same experience for self. So to have a support network of professionals and also peers and friends to be able to be honest with them on each step of the way, but while also simultaneously allowing the medical direction of the doctor to talk in real time about what you're experiencing. Because I've heard Dr. B numerous times say, when you're going through medication changes, it should never be difficult, right? It should never be difficult. It should always be a conversation, an ongoing conversation, which, by the way, it's fluid. So it's not just, hey, you have this conversation once on Tuesday. That doesn't mean on Friday the conversation might not be different. And it's okay to have that, because when we're going through changes in life, we will also fluctuate and change. So I wanted to kind of just open up the topic, not just about a Suboxone taper, but any type of change, whether it's to go down or go up. Mental health needs to be a priority with that.
Parham, you mentioned something, and I a little bit misunderstood it. I agree with you 100%. And at first, I thought you were saying within your position of mental health is important. I thought, are you advocating that they should be seeing therapists during these times, or were you just in general saying mental health housekeeping and upkeep is critical?
No, I do believe that an individual going through a medication change such as this one should also have psychotherapy, mental health therapy concurrently going on with it, in order to be able to speak their thoughts, their experiences, to get a different perspective, to get some support, to kind of dysregulate them a little bit, and if there is any dysregulation going on. And I think just more support, the better, In this day and age with the telehealth and the ability to be able to get on a screen and talk to a licensed professional, a lot of the barriers that previously existed with finding a clinician, going to the office, going through all that stuff, it could be done at the comfort of their own home. So I do believe that my recommendation would be for it to be simultaneous.
That's great. I didn't even ever think about that. And I'll tell you what some of the barriers are. I mean, in my case, I try to keep really close tabs and give them to the extent the mental health support needed and make the changes. But what you say goes a step beyond, and it's a great idea. One of the issues, and if you have access, fantastic. The second issue with that, what I always find by Parham is when people are doing that, they are so far down in their global treatment. That's not even a conversation. But I'm going to bring that back in, and I like what you said. And I try to myself give as much support in that area and guiding how we go about this. But something else you said, the very stigma, and then I never thought of it this way, and I'm going to steal your thought. The very stigma of getting on Suboxone or buprenorphine or maintenance, being and staying on maintenance treatment also applies to getting off of it and any difficulty or setbacks people get. I never thought of that, and that's huge, especially for someone who's recovering. Let's say Nicole, in her case, she's out there and she's a major advocate of recovery and all that stuff. So she's got a lot of people looking at her, and other people might have families, significant others, friends. And so if they're having any, I never even thought about these issues. If they're having any difficulty, they're hiding it. And you just brought that to light for me. So it makes it all the more important, I guess, to do this the right way. And you also have, the one getting off of it, to have the right attitude and feel good about this. You just made it even much more complicated.
Yeah, I mean, going through withdrawal effects, whether they're psychological or physical, and doing it in the dark because of the stigma of saying, hey, I've been on this medication for the past year. Not that many people know, but here I am. It's not an easy thing for people to do. So talking to a therapist sometimes allows to develop the psychological, emotional muscles to have those conversations with the support group, to get the support. Because as you see, when Nicole, for example, in this case, is writing about her experience, there's so much positive support in the chat going on with individuals that either identify with the situation, that either are just sending love and support to her. But that's because she's being verbal about it. That's because she's being open about it. Now, how many people try to get off Suboxone and don't say anything because no one knew they're on Suboxone in the first place? There's a lot of people like that in the recovery community.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because Nicole, everyone knows she works with our organization, and there's an irony here. Number one, she's far away, but I really gave her minimal support, and I get so caught up in work. And then just now, or last night, I was actually supposed to call her, and I feel just horrible about not giving her support because I'm confident in my own the way I guide people, and I feel crappy about that. But she's also a great case illustration of the importance of this and doing this right. And she's done an amazing job all the way through this part and the whole thing. But I think I could have given her a little more support. And in fact, I was trying to help with some things, and I had computer problems, but I had some other ideas. There's a lot of stuff up here, Parham. Check it out. Questions, guys. TikTok. Come on, jump on here. I can't see. I'm an old man. I can't read
your
writing. Get on YouTube, Dr. B, Addiction Recovery. Ask your questions. If you're shy, hide your face. If you're super shy, just put them in the comment in the chat on the side. Let's generate a conversation here, and let's facilitate all of your needs for whatever your issue is. We have limited time, but let's do it. Hey, Misty, how are you?
There's one Anthony here watching from Buffalo. He's been on a few times. Anthony, thank you for the support. There's something you wrote here at the end of your statement here, talking about your recovery and clean time and all that kind of stuff. But you said, I wasted 5 yeyears of sobriety. I hope that one day, my hope for you, Anthony, is that you're able to reframe whatever happened in those 5 years to see it as never a waste, right? I don't believe that any experience, good or bad, is ever wasted. It's all about how we reflect back on that experience and see what we can pull from it, what we can extrapolate from it moving forward to create a different experience for us. So I personally believe that some of the times in my life that I feel like I wasted the most were the times that I actually gained the most perspective about what life needs to look like or should look like in my perspective. So I just wanted to catch that because there's a lot of people on your channel, Doc, that come here. They say, I'm too old, I'm too late. I've done this for so many times. I've wasted so many months, years of my life, decades of my life. And unfortunately, I don't subscribe to that model. I don't know if you do or not, Doc, but I don't. So I wanted to kind of coach you on that one right there.
So I thank you, Parham, and that's great teaching for me. 2 points. Yeah, I think Anthony works. I think he works in recovery. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what he means by I've wasted that time. But let me tell you, Anthony, what Parham said has been in my personal life at 51 has been one of the most explosive opportunities for growth. And again, I believe the way we look at things has to do with the way we came up. And when that's effed up, it takes so many years to re-change the framework of how we look at things. And the last 3 or 4 years, I've had some heavy personal shit that I've had to deal with. And this is the first time that I have been able to look at it, and in the most bizarre way, which I'm still trying to process, Parham. I am doing what you said. Not only, even though it's cost me an incredible amount of money, it's cost me an incredible amount of emotional, psychological, physical investment. I'm sitting here looking at this last few years, 3 years, and thinking to myself, this has been one of the biggest growth spurts in my life. Everything I have gone through has been educational. And for all of the substance abuse users out there and those in recovery, we gotta change your mind. And what Parham said is everything to growing and maturity. And you absolutely didn't waste anything, Anthony. If you feel like it, come on, talk to us. There is someone on there.
We're gonna get Rochelle on.
Yeah, you drive the boat.
Yeah. Rochelle, what's up?
Hi. How are you
Hi.
guys?
How are you?
Good. I just had a question. So I'm on Suboxone. I've been on it for about 4 years, and I'm on 24 milligrams. And I'm really debating on getting on Sublocade, and I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on Sublocade.
Let me grab my pen. I because of my own ADD, I work better with a pen. Hold on.
Yeah, not a problem, Rochelle. So, Dr. B is the licensed medical doctor, and I'm the mental health guy. So because it's a medication question, I'm going to allow Dr. B to come back so he can provide you with some more expertise than I could. But my curiosity would be kind of the why the switch, why the change, kind of that stuff. So
yeah.
I'll let Dr. B go first about the Sublocade, and then I'll provide some additional support to you. Okay, Rochelle?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but sure. Real quick, and again, I'm not giving medical advice, but real quick, you're on 24 milligrams about 4 years. Why? My first question is, why do you want to change to Sublocade?
So I've slowly tapered off methadone in the past, and that went pretty smoothly for the most part. I mean, I had a few bumps along the road where it was a little rough, but I mean, for the most part, it went pretty smooth. But I've done a lot of cold turkey detoxes from methadone and Suboxone. So I'm really nervous to do a taper. And I've heard that Sublocade is a little bit easier to get off of. And I've heard that the symptoms are a little bit more minimal, I guess. But I've never really talked to a doctor. My doctor does do Sublocade, but I don't think he really understands that you have to supplement at first, which is what I'm understanding, that you have to supplement for a little while when you first start on it, until it fully gets into your system. I'm initially wanting to get off of Suboxone. I feel like I'm ready. I'm pretty stable. My life is stable. I just feel like I'm ready. I'm just really nervous to taper, and yeah.
Yeah, those are all good reasons. Couple of thoughts, and then I'll let Parham take over. Number one, given the past, being on methadone tapering, being on Suboxone tapering, and I don't know your case, but I would really want to know, should you even be thinking about tapering, because your life is going so well on this stuff. Maybe you can cut down a little bit, but tapering. So that would be if I was your physician, I would really want to know. We don't need to do the yo-yo. If it happens, great. Any clean time you got under your belt, fantastic. It is what it is. But let's learn from this. You are A-okay in my book being on this stuff if your life is going good. B, the answer to your second question doesn't seem to be for comfort thing of not having to take a thing, blah, 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 blah. And being nervous about this, fine. Go to Sublocade. Now, your third question, do you need to supplement? Not necessarily. The first dose is 300. The second month, it goes, I think, to 150 or 100. Here's what I do. I just basically watch my patient. If you need to stay on 300 every month, again, the data out there is kind of bullshit. Right? We need another 10 years. Yeah, I'm really particular about reading clinical data, and I look even more closely who funded it. I love the medication, but I am not a fan of pharmaceuticals in the way one would think I would be. So when I got a guy that's doing as a hardcore addict doing 32 milligrams a day, and I go to this, I'll give him 10 subs a month and say, here's a little bit of thing, right? Or some other guys, I just keep them on 300 every month. In your case, but in general, you don't have to do that. It's 300, 100, 100, you just stay on that. And then finally, as far as getting off of this stuff, get on it, all right? You're being nervous, thinking, oh, I need to supplement. Maybe your doctor will do it. Maybe he'll say, hell no, you're on this stuff. Because again, there is what they write, but as a clinician, you have absolute right to make clinical judgment. And I don't see too much of that anymore. So get on the stuff. And if you want to stay on through, whatever your doctor will allow, have a conversation with him. Keep an ongoing conversation. Don't be in a rush to get off. As far as this is easier than subs, it's not driven by data, but I have heard quite a bit anecdotally and seen it in a couple of my own patients that they just kind of smoothly come off this stuff. I can't quite explain it yet, but get on it and really get comfortable with this for a while in general, depending on where you're at. But let's aim this time for staying healthy in the long run, and that's what I have to say. And I'll let Parham add anything, and then you can ask us whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that I want to add to that is, so today we're talking about anytime there's any major changes going in life, to be able to have support around you. Now, whether that's peer support, social support, or professional support, to be able to, even though it's a parallel, it's kind of the same medication in a different, form of it, there still could be some psychological, emotional, physical changes that you might go through in the transition. And it's just good to be able to have acute awareness of what you're experiencing through that experience, because you don't really know what you're going to experience yet, right? But having support allows you to have a little bit of inside awareness of how it's impacting you, how it's affecting you. Maybe allow a couple people that are close to you to say, hey, let me know if you see any changes in me, that kind of stuff, because it allows us to see the things like our blind spots. We all have blind spots, Rochelle. And whenever we change medications, sometimes we're unable to see what is obvious to others, and vice versa. So that's the only thing that I have is you sound like you have a great head on your shoulders. You sound like you're going about this the right way. You're not an impulsive person, and you're not doing a knee-jerk reaction type kind of thing. And you're talking to the right people, obviously, the experts in the field. And you come back, and if you do decide to go down this path, come back and let us know what your journey looks like. And come share your story if you're comfortable, because there is probably a couple thousand people that are going to watch this live stream at some point, and they're going to have the exact same journey that you're going on right now, and your experience will matter to them. It's anecdotal, as Dr. B calls it. Just because you experience something doesn't mean Joe or Bobby or Mary are going to experience it, but your experience matters, and it's still some data point.
Well, and my mental health needs to be probably a little bit more stable before I start this journey of maybe switching, which I've been thinking about it for months now, just debating, going back and forth. And Dr. B's right. What is the reason why? And it's simply because I don't want to be on anything. And I think that's for a lot of people, what a lot of people feel like. I don't want to be on it. I get judged for it. People say I'm not sober. You take too many medications. You need to get off of it. Just typical, stuff that people say, and, how you feel that you just don't want to be on anything. I would love to wake up every morning and not have to dose, be free from everything. But then again, there's always the what if I get off, and what if I wasn't ready and I thought I was. And then I, use, which, the drugs out there today are not the same drugs out there that were out there when I was using. They're way different, way stronger. And so, yeah, I just wanted to hear your guys' kind of opinion on it. The only other question I have is, I also heard that the best dose to switch on is like 16 milligrams. Is that true? Or is 24 milligrams okay to switch on?
Yeah, sure is. In fact, I'll do any dose. Well, I won't do lower than 16 because Supplicate is marketed as 16 to 24. So there's no reason for me to, if you're lower than that, I won't do it. But if you're at anything higher, I can adjust anything with anything. Lower than that, it's not, I find it unethical to put you on Suboxone. Look, I think you need some support. We are here for you. Just some of the things that you are saying, come back, keep us updated, like Parham said. Let us give you, we won't give you clinical medical advice, but we will work around that and give you the support that you need, okay?
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for chatting with me. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Bye,
just out
Randy.
of curiosity, Rochelle, where are you from? What part of the country?
I'm in Nebraska.
Nebraska, right on. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
watching us from Nebraska. That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day, okay?
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Real
bye-bye.
quick, bye. On TikTok, you guys are asking, how do you get on? You go to Dr. B Addiction Recovery on YouTube, and you can pop on there, ask your questions. And I want to see you guys. Dr. B Addiction Recovery, ask your questions. We got Anthony. That's about, and here's what it looks like, guys. Well, that's
Yeah, I don't see his screen popping up yet. Anthony, if you're there, turn on your camera. But I don't. Nope, maybe.
How do we get him up here? Oh yeah, you got it.
I'm trying. Yeah, if the audio only works, that's okay too for anybody else watching.
Yeah, and maybe he I guess it could be where somebody doesn't want to be seen, which is fine.
Yeah, we could. Let me get him off until I see him pop on the bottom. There's a question here. Blue Moon has asked, and a few people wanted to hear your response to it. Is it okay to do 2 tapers at the same time? Go for it, Doc.
Where is it?
It's like, what are we talking about? What medications, right?
That's I know, Blue Moon. I guess, are they talking about 2 different meds, huh?
Yeah, like tapering off 2 different medications at the same time. What would be your expertise on that?
Yeah, so what I do is I get confronted with that all the time, and usually I get hit up with the benzo and subs, or and what I do is again simple. From my angle, I take a look and see which one is more consequential to your well-being in terms of side effects, abuse, misuse, health, all that crap. And I want to always do that one first. You don't need to be, because look, in medicine in general, you always aim to isolate your course of action so you can figure out what's causing what, right? So I don't want a second medication on board, right? That would tapering off. And the way I choose is, and oftentimes people are like, hey, I need to get off subs. So can you give me a little more benzos? This is a kind of a related story. And it's like, dude, can you give me a little more benzos before I get off? No, subs are much less harmful in the long run than your benzos. And let's work on the benzo issue, your anxiety issue, stable mental health issue. Let's cut that down significantly. And if it's going to be years, let's get it down to a reasonable, stable level. Then let's go back to subs. So I just kind of do again, risk-benefit calculus for each individual.
Thanks, Doc. Great response there. There's another one here, not related to that topic, but I think it's something valuable. Brandy, which watches this every week. Thank you, Brandy.
Oh, hi, Brandy. I haven't seen it for a while. Good.
Yeah, she wrote, I've been clean for 11 years, but stuck in a cycle of depression because I never fixed my trauma. So it hit me all at once. Days I'm stuck in bed, barely able to function. So obviously one of the telltale signs of depression. So the reason I'm using this comment as a teaching tool for anyone watching is because there's something called physical abstinence, clean time, the time that we abstain from using psychoactive, mind and mood altering substances. So that's one thing. But then there's this whole other side of healing. That's the emotional, the psychological, the spiritual side of the recovery process. And when she says I never fixed my trauma, and what I hear from there is I never truly addressed my trauma with the appropriate person at the appropriate avenues, working through it. And now 11 years later, I'm feeling the psychological weight and impact of depression on my body to the point that I can't get out of bed. So I want everyone to see this, that just because we abstain and get clean from drugs and alcohol does not mean that all of our previous past trauma goes away and all of a sudden we're okay. Everyone hear this. The only thing that gets better from stopping the use of drugs is the consequences related to drug use. That's it. Everything outside of that, the emotional, psychological, the physical, the trauma, whatever you experience in your timeline is still going to be there. So that's why the real work starts when we stop the use of substances, because then, like a freight train, you're hit with everything that you've been suppressing, avoiding, whether it's by choice or by force, all that kind of stuff. So thank you for courageously sharing that, Brandy. And I hope that whether you come on here and talk to us about some of this stuff, or you get on your healing journey, as I like to call it, and start addressing that trauma, because you're not broken. Your trauma did not break you, even though that's what your mind's telling you right now. You're perfect and whole exactly as the way you are. You just need to reconnect to that perfectness and that wholeness, right? And you're not your depression. You're absolutely not your depression. You're just experiencing depression as a result of probably childhood and lifelong trauma. So thank you for sharing that question. I hope that was a good teaching tool.
Parham, will you repeat? I think it's so important what you said, and we'll get Anthony and Vincent on. I think what you said was so eloquently stated, and I'm an absolute advocate of that. Repeat for everybody slowly what you said. When you stop the drugs, the only thing that stops, for the most part, is the consequences, whether it's health, social, psychological, even to some extent, of that substance. Everything else is work. Repeat that. That's money in the bank, guys.
Yeah, so I'll say it a little slower too. So when people decide to get off of their drug of choice, whatever you want to call it, they assume, it's a false assumption, that all of their problems are going to go away once they discontinue drug use. And that's a false statement. It's a false belief. So all that happens when someone discontinues the drug of choice that they're using on a regular daily basis, the problems related to that drug use go away. The consequences related to that drug use go away. However, all of the other psychological, emotional, spiritual, every other thing that's in your timeline that you've experienced, it actually, instead of going away, it resurfaces. Some of the stuff that you've suppressed for years, sometimes decades, all of a sudden hit you like a freight train. And now you don't have the substance to be able to numb it out, tune it out, and just kind of cope with it the way you've done for so long. And sometimes if we don't have the coping skills and the ability to regulate those, it starts to show up in addictive behaviors. It starts to show up in food, in sex, in shopping, in codependency, in mental illnesses that start to get intensified, like in this case with Brandy and her depression, to the point that she's unfortunately unable to get out of bed some days. So I want everyone to hear that. Thank you for echoing that, Doc. It's an important thing.
So, Parham, thank you for, it just came to mind. We, in many, many ways, Parham, we hit this issue regularly. We can almost do a complete show on this, and it just kind of occurred to me. I want to let you drive a lot more often, because you're putting it in a different way, right? And it resonates with people. And just so you guys know, for those of you that may be new or don't know Parham, Parham is a professional licensed, therapist in addiction and some other things. And he runs a treatment center. But I also want to, and he's very talented. I'll put my reputation on that. I also want to point out for those of you that, just to add some oomph, if you want to it, for those of you that this matters, he also has a pretty robust history of use and abuse in his past, which he is open about. So I just leave it at that and say that. But Parham, I love the way you put that. Okay, we got some people.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, we have some people here. Let's see if Anthony. It says you're buffering. The little circle's going around. So I know you're trying to re-sign in. I see your message. So I don't know if it's gonna go through or not. Can you hear us, Anthony? I don't think it's working. I don't think it's buffering right. Let me put you back on pause, Anthony. See
Keep trying, Anthony. We want to hear you.
We got Barbie here. Barbie, it's okay if you don't want to show your screen. I do believe you potentially have a question regarding access to MAT medications or services in rural areas. So can you hear us?
And you're on mute. Is that us?
No, I think I can maybe unmute her.
Yeah, we got to unmute her, I think. No, that's
Right.
Barbie, you got to unmute your mic. She's on a second time unmuted. So let me try that.
Oh, this one? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you, Barbie. Well, I thought we could.
Why is it?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
It says I'm unmuted.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear you.
Can you hear me?
You're
Yes.
good.
I think my connection is bad. I will try again
No, we can hear
We
you.
can hear you.
because I can't hear you guys either now. So
Oh.
I'm gonna leave and try and close it out and come back and try again.
Okay.
There's Anthony again. Should we try him?
It's gotta. Whenever their picture pops up, I know it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna pop up yet.
Oh. And there was Vincent Ali trying to get on as well.
I do believe. I remember Vincent. He was from France, I believe.
Yeah, he is. And his dad, they have a big business there and so forth. And I was wondering about him.
Okay, let's go back here, see what we got until they come up.
Yes, you can, Stephen.
Yeah, so Steven, right here, when you say, can I chat, there's a link that Nicole is posting. All you have to do is click on that link, and then you can pop up like these individuals that have been coming to talk to us. So let's see if
Steve is from the UK, and I think Vincent Ali's from France.
Vincent, can you hear us?
Hi guys.
Hi again, Vincent.
Yeah, do you listen to me?
We can hear you, yes.
Yeah, thanks. So, hi, Dr. B, and it was a long time because I was absent because I'm studying English, okay, to improve my English, and I couldn't engage with you because my English was so weak that it would make my treatment with you, and it will make our collaboration very, very bored for you and me. And I'm gonna not understand what you're gonna say to me. I'm looking forward to come to the United States the next month, if God will, with Dad, to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm looking forward to come to you and to start treatment. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, good. I was worried about it.
Yeah.
And
by the way, I'm dealing with COVID. I'm contracted, so.
That's okay. Everyone out here is.
Yeah, no, I'm really okay. But I have to fix a vaccine problem in France in order to travel. Because it's really a huge problem to travel with vaccines. So I try to fix this problem with French authorities. So yeah.
That's okay. I'm just happy. I think we were.
Thank you.
And Parham remembers you too, so I'm sure we were both kind of concerned about what happened to you. So just reach out to us and come on the show. And you know what? Don't worry about your English, man. Trust me.
Dr. B, it's really important to me to improve my English because if I can communicate with you. You are a native speaker, and your English it's so clean and so perfect that I don't have this level. So I can't engage with you because it will be so boring for me and you, and I will not have all benefit, and I will not understand fully our conversation when I'm gonna be in your office. So that's why my father and my mother told me about my treatment with you. So I think this is yeah. I think it's very important thing to.
No problem. However you want to do it. And by the way, neither me or Parham are native speakers. We are immigrants, both of us. So we came when we were very small. I think Parham might have come later to me. But however you want, but just as long as you've been okay. Parham, got any feedback for our friend here?
No, man. Whenever the time is right. First of all, I hope you heal and you get healthy from your COVID and you don't have any negative side effects, and you are able to come to the United States and hopefully one day meet myself, Dr. B, and get the treatment that you're looking for.
I have to do that because at this moment I'm dealing with I'm always dealing with benzo withdrawal. I switched to Lexomil. I definitely stopped taking lorazepam, and it was really an agony to switch to Lexomil. I don't remember I just remember the brand name. So. And I'm taking one piece of Lexomil, and it's really not really great. So I think that it has more side effects than lorazepam, and I think it's a great catastrophe that what I have done. I switched by myself, and now I'm really bad. Yeah.
So, Ali or Vince, just some parting thoughts here. I heard you say you're coming with your parents, and
Yeah,
for me,
with that, yeah.
oh, Dad, and that's a big plus for me. To the best of my recollection, a lot of our discussion it started to sink in. I think with me and Parham, how there's a connection here to all of the issues you have, and I think it's really important for me to get Dad out here and plug him in to somebody like Parham, where the both of you are engaged in that. Number two, don't mess around too much on your own.
No, Dr. B, sorry, my dad is not gonna come with me. He will stay in Charlotte, North Carolina, and with his business, and I'm gonna come alone to you.
No,
Yeah.
no problem. We'll sort it out. And the other thing is, please don't make too many radical changes because you just make my work harder.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. This is why I won't really. I'm taking a perfection course from private English course, perfection course from an American woman in Paris, and I think that my English it's better, a little bit better than I was in the past. So
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
Right on,
Fantastic.
man. Thank you, Vincent.
So I'm gonna call, but I don't think Doctor B, he has English. His English is clean and pure, but I don't know the name of your yeah. There's Doctor B and Parham Namal name.
Nematolo.
Parham.
Namatola.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. His English is so pure and so fast. It's so perfect that maybe I will have some problems with him, but yeah, it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna do my best. But
You're going to be
yeah,
fine.
and yeah, I have to fix quickly this benzo problems because I think that I will make I will damage my brain. I don't know. My memory disorder has increased. My focus disorder has increased. I'm really bad. Yeah, I'm really bad. I have to make and for this. It's not. Yeah. It's a big problem for me. It's a big problem. Yeah, working, living with my public relation, working, everything is crushed. So yeah.
We'll get a handle of it, Vince, and just stay safe until you come out, and make sure you touch base with us, okay? Weekly, if you can.
Okay. The sound is really bad. So I don't understand what did you
Oh,
say? So can you repeat?
I just said make sure you stay safe and
Thank you. Yeah.
keep in touch with us and Nicole until you get out here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. B, and as well, Parham. And we will meet soon, if God will. And not really, I'm really, 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 really bad. So I'm extremely bad. And my psychiatrists make my case worst. And all French psychiatrists is really a great, great catastrophe. So I wish that Dr. B will help me, and yeah, that's it. I will see you as good soon, and thank you so much to share this moment, this short moment with me as well, Parham. Thank you so much.
Take care. Okay, let me get Anthony's been waiting for a while. Anthony, can you hear us?
Damn. Just so you guys all know, 12:50, I have a hard stop because I actually have a patient that won a wacky day. So I like to prepare for them. But yeah, I wish we could get Anthony on to take care of his stuff, but it is what it is.
And there's a guy in the chat, Steven, I believe from UK. I mean, we're not exactly ready, but you can click the link and you can come here and you can wait with everyone else, and then we can do our best to get you on, Steve. So just click the link, and we'll get the next person on.
I know Kicking Addiction. He's pretty cool.
What's up, man?
Oh, hi.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
We're good.
I watch your stuff sometimes. It just pops up, and
hey, that's cool. Yeah, I reached out to you a couple of years ago. I was going to do a video with you, but I guess we never kind of made it happen. But
oh my God! So we can make it happen. It's just I am so buried. You're gonna have to use Nicole, one of these guys, but. And I can't even remember, but I'm trying to stay on top of stuff. But I do watch your stuff as it pops up, and I enjoy it.
Hey, I appreciate the support. I was actually going to ask you guys a couple of things, kind of actually about Nicole, because you guys know she just kind of jumped off of her. I think she was on like 1.5 milligrams or something, and then she's basically back on now, if I recall, at a quarter of a milligram. Is that right? Does that sound about right?
Well, yeah, she jumped back on, and I think it was a quarter milligram. She's right there in the chat. You can tell us, but I think it was a 0.2. She jumped back on, yeah, and I think it's 0.25.
I wanted to ask you guys what your opinions of, or how much experience you guys have with the Butrans patch. Do you guys ever use that?
Shall I, Parham?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So. Let me clarify a little bit about the Butrans patch. It's a weekly patch, and I believe it comes in 5 mics, 10 mics, 15 and 20. Now, It's a very interesting thing. It's the same actually company that makes Suboxone. I think it's Ricketts or whatever. I don't pay attention to these. Believe it or not, I always forget. Now, it's FDA approved for pain, whereas Suboxone is not. It's very, well, I know why they do this stuff. It's purely marketing and the way, because what that does is if you look at the graph on and talk to an economist, it pushes their market curve. So oddly enough, that's marketed for pain, and it's odd. I watch practitioners say, "Oh, you can have Suboxone." Dude, it's the same thing. It's a different delivery. Now let's talk about that delivery. And yes, I do have quite a bit of experience with it in many different areas before. And here's what I have to say about that. Every once in a while, because I also get pain patients, okay, in different avenues, they sort of end up coming to me. Whether it's referral or something, and I make it very clear, look, this is not a opiate place. You're not going to, this is what I do. And when I do get somebody on that medication, Butrans, if insurance is easy and all that stuff, I don't like in general, because my patients usually are quite complex in their needs, right? I don't like to use that, and I'll tell you why right now. With Suboxone, right? Because I really micromanage your issues, then let you be, right? when you put a patch on, I've lost all control. You've lost all control, right? It is what it is, and it makes it so much harder for someone like me to drive because I manage you. Any issue you got, I always tell my initial patients, you got sleep issue, tell me. You got anxiety issue, tell me. You got depression, tell me. You got it's a withdrawal at this time, that, and I adjust that way. And I always aim for the lowest dose possible, and I want to know what that dose is. So the long and short of it is it's indicated for pain. If you probably put substance abuse, they won't even give it to you. It's very expensive. I do like it for certain things, except none of those ever pop up on my personal radar nowadays. And if someone does ask about it, most of my patients are so complex in their needs, and we want to micromanage to a certain extent, to a great extent. It just never. I don't find too much utility for it. Does that help?
Yeah, I noticed how you were talking about the expense of it, and I was doing some research on it. And when I first stumbled across it, I did a live stream, and the guy had mentioned he was on a Suboxone patch, and I was like, "What are you talking about? I never heard of this." And I'm always looking for stuff like this. So when he said that, I kind of dove deeper into it, and I guess they just came out with a what's it called, generic version of it. So I was looking at the price comparisons, and it's like 4 times cheaper, 5 times cheaper now with the generic versions. It looked like it was like on GoodRx, on the GoodRx app. It looks like somebody could be on it for about $100 a month. And I was just thinking for people like Nicole and myself, I've gone up and down. I'm sure if you've seen some of my videos with Suboxone over the years, I can get down to the lower doses. I'm currently down to 1 milligram, and I'm feeling good, but I want to keep pushing. And I know that it gets harder as I go down from here. So I was just curious what your opinion would be, because I have been out of active addiction for 5 years. And it's just like Suboxone is just so built into my daily routine, right? So I would think that maybe if I could just throw the patch on, and then that would keep me out of withdrawals, and then I could taper the patch just to kind of like get that psychological every day, every morning, every afternoon. I just have to take it. It's just my body will start to act like, what's going on? I haven't had my dose. Even if I'm not going into withdrawals, it's still like my brain starts going crazy with it because it's so attached to that daily schedule. Would you think that maybe for people like Nicole and myself that have been tapered down, we're not really in any risk of relapse?
Yeah.
What would you think about that?
So I'll tell you this. That's a great question. It brings up a couple of things. Do you mind, Parham, if I?
Not at all.
Okay. It brings up a whole bunch of stuff, and I'll be brief. The short answer is no, and I'll tell you why. Part of the issue of coming off is, even though it's so small, there is physical withdrawals. And now when you buy the lowest patch, I believe is 5 mics, you got to calculate what that is in a week and daily. It's going to be really difficult to mess with that, right? And in fact, it could get you in trouble. So that's one thing. Then there's the psychological issue of a whole bunch of neural networks being plugged into the ritual of Suboxone, and I call that supratentorial. Higher frontal cortex shit's been really plugged into the whole prefrontal cortex and midbrain. That's a great point. It would be amazing to be able to do that. Unfortunately, the other part, which I just discussed, is going to get in the way of that. So that's my thought on that. Now, here's something I thought. Wouldn't it be great, whether it's the patch or the shot, if these guys chose to make a much smaller dose, right? But they don't, right? They don't do that. So, it leaves it to someone like me to try to do that. Now, since you've been having these same kind of issues as Nicole, there's a doctor, I presume, managing it. And if you can catch me, I'd be happy to give you. And I'm not blowing anybody off out there, guys. I am down to talking to everybody. I physically can't make my days work to be able to do everything I need to do. If you can catch me, I'll give you some feedback. One of the things I like to suggest, and I didn't get to do that with Nicole, I think is spread the days. Like, let's say you get to 0.125 or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a guy I just beautifully tapered now, and he's moved to North Carolina. Was a patient of mine for years. We started on 2832 milligrams, right? Heavy user. I have another kid, same thing. He was on 40 milligrams, believe it or not, and I was okay with that. Oh, yeah. That one was also on 60 of Valium a day.
Wow.
And he had gone to Betty. Betty Ford actually referred him to me. And, I'm buddies with all these kids now, years later. But one of the things we've done, this kid had to move to North Carolina, and that's where he's from. But the family and everybody there doesn't accept subs. But we've been going around this merry-go-round or getting him sober for 4.5, 5 years, and very close touch with him. We went from when we got to the low dose. Okay, let's try and go every other day, right? Oh, is that going well? All right, let's go to every third day. Oh, are you having a little bit of problem sleeping? All right, for a few, don't go down anymore. For a few nights here, let's add some melatonin, maybe a touch of Rembrandt. And that kind of, and it's hard for doctors probably to do that nowadays. I get it. But in that way, you can start getting away from the ritual of the medication and the supertentorial psychological addiction that plays. Many ways to cut it, my friend. And if you can catch me, I'm happy to give you some feedback on that. Does that answer your question? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was just, I don't know why I just had such like an overwhelming, like an overwhelming feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is the magic key, that I haven't found yet. But I was going to ask you too, what's your opinion, or have you heard much of? It's called Brixadi, I guess. It's a lower dose of Sublocade type of situation. I've heard they're either coming out with it or it's already out.
What's it called? What's it called?
It's called Brixadi, Brixadi. Can you hear me okay still?
Yeah, I'm actually looking it up. That's kind of exciting. Have you heard of this, Parham?
I have not, no.
Let me just do a quick look at this. Brixadi. Yeah, I see it as a partial agonist. Let's see what they say about it.
Sorry, I can't hear you guys. Hold on a sec. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
I can hear you perfectly.
Wow. It's
sorry. I was curious if you guys knew much about that. Somebody else was talking about it in my live stream the other day. Also, if you guys haven't heard about that, what's your opinion on maybe, because when they're doing the Sublocade shot, what about in, say, Nicole's situation, if they could give her like the 100 milligram dose and maybe just give her like half of the dose? Would something like that work? Because it's an injectable, right? And then it gets solid after it gets administered. What about giving her like half of 100 milligram shot, since she's on such a low dose? That way she's not going backwards by taking the 300 milligram shot and shooting her tolerance way back up, something like that. Well, is that possible to do that?
Real quick, I just looked up Brixadi, and I'm not sure if it's approved yet, but that would be one option for tapering down. as far as your second question, I don't know. It sounds possible, right? But I don't know the mechanism of the lipid formation. It's basically that is the structure of how this thing works. And if you give half the dose, potentially, but again, one should never. You always want to keep as tight of a control on measuring, and that's a little difficult to measure. And I would be experimenting if I try that. Some of the other things I do, but I already clinically have a good feel. Like I'll keep someone on 3. But with that, it's a great idea. But I'm going to be experimenting on you if I do it, and I could. It's not going to hurt you, but that might be an idea, and I might look into that. But don't be so saddened by my position on that. I don't recommend you try that patch thing. I think it might get you in trouble, but that's your call. And like I said, there are ways to get around this. Don't be disheartened. It can be done. It can be done quite much easier than you think. And I think you need a little bit of resetting about how you approach it, and experiment a little bit in some of the things I said. Do not be disheartened. I think you watch some of your stuff. You've done a kick-ass job, and I like the stuff you put out there. And keep going strong.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, it just feels like it's a maze we're all kind of stuck in, and we're all trying to find any little possible way to get out of it. It's it's a long journey for sure.
And this is why Parham, what he said is really important. Mental fitness, health, hygiene, and support during when you get to these issues. I mean, he really put a new twist on it for me in looking at that. Much because someone like you is so far away, and relapsing is not even really on the table yet. From what Parham told me, or the way he made me see it today, uh, it really emphasizes no matter where you are in life, you'll need some sort of mental hygiene support, professional help to do this, because there's so much stigma and shit wrapped around this medication. And that really put a new light on it for me. I think there's a delay with kicking addiction.
Yeah. I haven't seen the first part of the show, so I need to go back and watch it. I just kind of seen you guys on here, and I apologize for the delay in the audio. I know there's some issues with that right now. I'm using a second phone, so I wanted to thank you guys for everything that you do, and I wanted to say, Nicole, you're such a badass for doing what you've done, and please don't let other people talk crap to you. Your channel is growing, so there's going to be haters that come with the numbers, and it's just a numbers game at that point. But good job, Nicole. I'm really proud of you, and you guys are awesome for everything that you do. And I hope to chat with you guys again soon. Sorry, like I said, sorry about the microphone delay.
Come back and keep us updated. Like I said, I love your stuff, and you guys should check out Kicking Addiction. He's a great guy, and I always watch it. And I had forgotten we had touch base. Come back and keep us updated, okay?
Cool. I'm gonna get him off right now because of the delay. Thank you so much, man.
Let's get Sarah on, and I got 3 minutes. This was a great show, Parham, again.
Let's see, Sarah, are you still here? I know you've been waiting for a while.
Oh my God. Hello?
Hi, Sarah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, the delay. Oh man, hi, thank you. You said you only got 3 minutes?
I'm in theory, but story of my life. I'm always running late, but I really, I'm committed to not keeping patients waiting. But go ahead.
Right. Okay. Really, so just stop me if I, not making sense at any point. So I've been on Suboxone for it
Sarah, I'm going to stop you real quick, Sarah. Unfortunately, you keep breaking up. It's coming very choppy.
approved or anything. It was me. It was a mess. So the Klonopin was just,
Parham, I'm not getting any of it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sarah, your every other word is chopping up, unfortunately.
Oh no. All right, let me try to stand still.
Sarah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, okay.
Is this any better?
So far, so good. I'll let you know.
Am I still chopping up?
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay, I won't move. Okay, so I was on Suboxone 7 years. I went off of it in September, and I had been tapering up to that point. But I was also on Klonopin for 11 years up to that point, and I went off both of them, not under doctor's advice, my own. It's a mess. So I ended up relapsing. I went back to the opiates. And just recently, like 2 weeks ago, I went to get back on the Suboxone. And I don't know, like, I feel like I can't take this medicine. Like, I don't know if it's from the Klonopin, because I know going off that, like, I didn't know when I went off it how unbelievably crazy this would be. But like even a half a strip of a 2 milligram Suboxone right now is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like I cannot take the medication anymore. Is this making any sense?
Yeah. What's the reasoning behind what happens to you when you
Okay,
take
hold on, hold on.
for example,
Can you guys hear me?
When you take the 2 milligram Suboxone, what happens to you that you feel like you can't take it anymore?
Like my head gets really, really heavy. I'm really dizzy. It's hard to, like, real panicky, like extremely panicky. I don't know. Like I've never had this problem with Suboxone. I don't know if I'm just still in withdrawal from Klonopin.
Yeah. So
I don't know. And the doctors just look at me like I'm.
Look, Parham, as she's describing,
I don't think they really know
as she's describing this. Of course, I need a lot more info. But my first thought, even the way Sarah's talking, is I'm thinking protracted benzo withdrawals. I don't know how long she was on the Klonopin, what immediate effect, but everything she says to me sounds like. And I'm going to, Sarah, I'm sorry. I took what I could from you because it's breaking up again, but I'm having a discussion about your case with Parham, and you can watch this. But everything she's saying to me, I'm going to suspect there's a lot more shit outside of this where she's having difficulty with, including panic attacks, potentially light sensitivity. Her ears. I'm going to get there's a lot. There is?
Yeah.
She's okay.
I have a feeling there is.
Oh, all of that. It's light sensitivity, auditory. It's awful.
So that was my guess from the couple of things you said. Again, there's nothing new under the sun, and what I do is not rocket science because you just have to kind of know what's going on. So that's what my suspicion is, Sarah. We're dealing with protracted benzo withdrawals, and it has nothing to do with the subs.
Right. I think they just heighten my senses or something. I'm in Michigan, and I can't even find anybody to like help. Like where do I start? Because it's really hard to continue life in these, trying to figure all this out, and then I'm just looked at like I'm just an addict or something.
Yeah. Look, why don't you talk to Parham? If you have some feedback for her, I don't know what her situation is, but talk to Nicole. In fact, this very issue you're describing globally is one of the things we get a lot of people from. And a lot of these guys, in fact, we have one wonderful lady that comes out from Michigan, and we had her come out twice or three times, and now she comes out only 4 times a year. But and this is a complex thing. Parham, if you have any feedback for her, give it to her, because it's not something we can solve right now. And
Yeah. Sarah, the best feedback that I would be able to give
No, I know.
to be able to get a little sense of identification with what you're currently experiencing, and to hear other people, men and women, also share similar stories to you, would be to go on Dr. B and myself's videos, specifically titled the ones that we had anything with benzodiazepine, and you will be surprised. I mean, there's a few that we had 7 or 8 or 10 callers coming on.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of them.
Yeah, they sounded like you. It was just a different name in a different city and a different state, going through the same symptomology. And Dr. B did nail it on the head. I'm not a medical doctor, so I want you to know that. But when he was able to identify the protracted benzo withdrawal and the symptomology that you're having, I would suspect, as a clinician, just looking at some medications that someone's taking, that it has less to do with the Suboxone at that low dosage of 2 milligrams that you're talking about, and more to do with getting off of a long-acting benzo like Klonopin that you were on for so many years. So going to the theme of today about medications and mental health, I would suggest that even if it's not specifically for the medication piece, to just have some access to. So if there's nobody around you, maybe go do some Google searches, go find online, go look at, sometimes if it's if cost or insurance is a thing, and I don't know if it is, but there's a lot of major universities that have counseling departments that are also available. What's that?
Right.
Yeah, so it's going to be an uphill battle.
I was saying, no, the insurance is that's not an issue. It's yeah.
Yeah,
I've called a couple places and they're all booked out like 3 months. And
I know it's a tough situation to be in. Hopefully,
kind of broke
maybe
up.
she can help you out with some stuff too.
Yes, Sarah, give Nicole a call,
Okay,
and she'll
great.
also direct you to some of those videos. Stay in touch here. I am.
Who's Nicole? I don't even know.
She's probably listening to you. She'll reach out to you. Okay. She's on the chat.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye. I am 6 minutes over, but let's get Brenda. Is it Brenda? Let's get her on for a minute. I feel I can't. I just don't have the heart to just leave someone.
Right. It's the last person we got right now. Brenda, what's up?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
I had a question. I've been with the boxing off and on for 5 years. And I tried to withdraw. I did take it, but it doesn't work. Actually, I'm trying to find something that will help me that I was addicted to, so I can withdraw off the boxing.
Parham, why is everybody coming on?
Yeah, Brenda, unfortunately, I don't know what's going on, but we can really having a very difficult time hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you better now.
Oh, I was saying, okay. How y'all doing, Chet? And how y'all doing, Dr. B and Mr. Parham?
Yeah, you got it, Brenda. We're doing well. Thank you for asking. How can we help?
I've been on Suboxone for 5 years, and I tried to withdraw twice. And when I tried to withdraw, the withdrawal period came a month later, and that's when like my mental health aches and pains started more, was causing me to get back on Suboxone. I started on the 8th, but now I'm on the 4th, and the tapering still doesn't work. And then when you go to a doctor, ask for help, the withdrawal from Suboxone, they'll just say taper, try to taper you off, but you still have the side effects from, tapering, the withdrawal from tapering off. So my thing is, I keep trying to find a doctor that'll help me to detox off Suboxone without getting addicted to maybe another narcotic, whatever they put me on. I don't want to get addicted to that. Because I'm trying to go to school, and like last time I had a problem when I was going to school and I ran out of Suboxone. So I didn't feel good to go to school. So now I'm trying to get my life on right path where I don't have to need a Suboxone to get up to move around to to function.
What state are you in, Brenda?
I'm in Virginia, and in Virginia they quick with your Medicaid. They'll put you on Suboxone, but when it comes to withdrawal, if you ain't got no good insurance, you're not gonna get the proper help. Like if you got good insurance, they got places where they can detox you within a week and give you more stuff. But if your insurance don't cover it, if you ain't got no money to do it, you can't. You can't get that treatment. They passed. You know how they passed the opioid law like in October 2 years ago to help people. But what about once you want to stop? And I would draw from other opiates quick, fast, in a hurry with no problem, last for years. But Suboxone has been the hardest thing to get off.
Yeah. Look,
and then ain't no doctor want to give you like Xanax or Clonopin or Vyvanse or Adderall, to switch it up so you got the energy or you won't be depressed, or Clonidine for your, blood pressure. But they'll give you the Suboxone with a Xanax. But if you don't want the Suboxone, you don't get, you feel what I'm saying? You can't get, the Xanax.
What's your dose?
I take like a 4. I've been ripping the 4s up lately, so I've been breaking like a 4 milligram up a day.
Oh, how do you
But
feel?
I was on 8, taking 8 maybe 2 times a day for the past like 3 years. So the past 2 years, I switched up on 4s, so 4 is bigger than 8. So I'm using like my mind thing, like I'm taking a lot, but not taking a lot, being that the 4 milligrams bigger than the 8. So I try to put it in my mind like they is 8, but they 4 because they big. So that's why, I can break up the 4s all during the day. So, with the 8s, you might can't break it up maybe 3 times, but the 4s, I probably break them up about 5 times.
What is your total dose in a day right now? It's 4 milligrams broken up throughout.
4, but if my pain, because I really did it for pain. So if I'm in real pain, I might take maybe take 8 during the day.
Okay. Look, this is in some senses, it's an easy solution. In some senses, given logistics and so forth, it's difficult. Number one, it's kind of funny from what Parham said early on. That is seems to be the biggest barrier in many ways, which lends itself to the logistical, physical barriers. The only thing I want to say right now is if your mental health on that dose is high. Hey, how are you? Wow, shit.
Well, I'm right here on the front side of the room.
I have the smartest medical student I've ever met in my life.
And then on top of that, my estrogen and testosterone level kind of low. So when I do detox, I'm not getting that, that energy because of, them symptoms, lower. Lower too. So when you withdraw, you tied to it again with my estrogen and testosterone level and my thyroid levels be, higher sometimes and low. It make your energy level too. Worse when you withdraw.
Brenda, the only thing I want to say here, because I can't really tell you exactly what to do and so forth. The only thing I want to say is a general recommendation. Given the fact that you are down to 4 at this point,
I'm on the video.
Stay, John. I mean, that's not that. I didn't say 12, did I?
Yes.
I need you to. What I need you to do is stay on that dose for quite some time right now, and stay on that dose, and let that stabilize. That's about the only thing I can tell you right now is stay on that dose and let it stabilize. I don't know, Parham, if you and get your mental health in order and let that dose stabilize. I don't know how. Parham, do you have anything? Because I got to get going.
No, I
here.
know you have to go. Brenda, I took you off the screen, but come back and let us know. So Dr. B's recommendation was to get on a dose and let it stabilize for a little bit. And then from there, with a little bit more concrete kind of evidence experience, be able to slowly, if tapering is your thing, to minimize the amount of withdrawals you're going through, especially with your chronic pain. So it was really difficult for us to hear you. We did our best, and I know Dr. B has to go. You matter, and if you come back next week, and hopefully we could talk to you again and get some more details. Love and appreciate you and everybody else that was here. Dr. B, I know you got to go. I hear people in your office trying to pull you away, so go do your thing, and we'll be back next week, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and I'm going to end this right now. Parham, thank you. There's that broadcast, and I'm going to end. I'm going to end.